the Deputy Chief Baker sent me these texts. And I'm going to read them to you. I'm also going to have the clerk create copies so you can all look at them. Okay? And I think it'll clear up some of the questions that you have. It'll also create, I hope, a lot of other questions that you wouldn't have asked. And that's exactly why we have to stick with this process. Okay? And here's what it was said. I hear Crooked Bobby is trying to smear my name and cover his ass over the Ernst theft. Here's the truth. We looked into Heather stealing money a couple years ago to a large cash deposits in her personal bank account. And again, I apologize for my voice. Blevins brought the case to me and Plessick, Lieutenant Plessick, who is now Chief Plessick, who immediately took it to Chief Francis, who is now retired and has moved on to raising grapes in Georgia. Fisher knows about it also. Francis said to look into it, but keep it quiet. You can't properly investigate something like that by keeping it quiet. We were told not to go to Mazur because of their friendship. I'm not sure if Francis took this info to the mayor or not. Without doing an audit and pulling records from Rec and Parks, Blevins couldn't substantiate anything because the amount at that time could have been related to her husband's employment. Sergeant Cohill was also a detective at the time and can confirm this. My response, this is a mess. May I share this with special counsel? And if so, with or without anonymity. I got away from the mess and want nothing to do with Bobby or Hilliard. I just hear they were trying to drag my name through the mud to save face and wanted to give you the truth because I know they will lie. Just for the record, this harms me, this aggravates me. We have a wonderful police force. The guys in blue are the best. This was very difficult for this entire body. So, put yourselves not in the shoes of the chief, but also us in the community. This was hard. This has been hard on everybody. She betrayed trust. She was at everything. Councilman Painter at the criminal trial couldn't have done a better job of portraying how she's betrayed this community. I didn't believe it. For 3 months, I thought there's no way this happened. It's a big mistake. Okay? I'm going to go on, and it's going to take a minute, and I apologize. Where was I? Feel free to share, and you can tell them where it came from because it's the truth. However, I can't expand on the situation as what I just told you is the totality of what I know about the situation. Thank you, the truth works. It hasn't worked for years at HPD. You're promoting another one Monday, and it's sketchy as hell. Obviously, Deputy Chief Baker had some trouble with someone else that was involved in the investigation. I'm still shocked, just processing, just disbelief. Baker, a little later in the text, Dave Plessick said feel free to call him. He was a lieutenant who reported to command. Did you? And then I wrote something about somebody else, about Joe Erb, because Joe had just resigned. I was in shock about that. Do you remember what year you started the investigation? I would have to ask Plessick. It was when Francis was chief. Blevins brought a bank SAR to me, and I reported to Plessick immediately, and it went immediately to Francis and Fisher. Francis and Fisher have open door policies and do not follow a chain of command system like most agencies. Blevins went directly to them with his investigations. Don't hold me to it, but I would guess 2014. It was after Dave Cunningham retired, but before Francis went to City Hall, which I assume was a reference to Director Francis moving into the IT and communications role. Thanks. Notice all the press releases showing to date show 2016 or later. All the press releases coming out of Hilliard at the time showed that our notification, at least to the administration, were in October of 17. And then as you moved on in the year timeline, those press releases were backed up into 16. But nothing ever in 15, and obviously nothing ever in 14. All right? There was a little back and forth about Merry Christmas. It was Christmas time. And then Baker said, and here's another, it goes on for another page. You have people in top positions that have no integrity or lie, so they don't look bad. I'm telling you right now. Both Francis and Fisher knew about this from the beginning. If you can let Lightfoot talk to you, he can give you a lot of insight of that place. And then I missed a text, and it's in my phone somewhere, but I'll get it. But it basically said something about Lightfoot being a great guy, which he is, and he can bench press a lot. He probably won't because of retaliation that would occur. People are telling me Fisher's attempting to blame me and Plessy, and that's why I wanted to make you aware of these facts. Okay? It goes on, and there's more, and you're welcome to it. But this is exactly the position we've been put in. So to explain why we have to spend money to do this is because simply if command and a sergeant and an investigating officer wanted to go look at Rec and Park's books in 2015 and were told they were not able to do so, what's the fundamental question that you're asking yourself, Mr. Gergel? Because I believe it's a fair one.
Why? Why weren't they given the opportunity to do so?
If indeed, that's right. The veracity of all this has to be vetted out. It's part of this process that we're talking about. But the other question you have to ask yourself is, did we lose more money because of this? If you remember, the plea agreement that just was signed criminally said money went out from 14 through 17.
The best they could ascertain was $271,898.
So, why did he pick Les Carrier? I'm going to tell you why I believe. After issue 9, and Curtis Baker was the police officer on the commercials with issue 9, I went to Curtis Baker and introduced myself. And I asked him point blank, you know, we had a disagreement on development. I want you to know I support you and what you do every day, no matter what happened with issue 9. We built a friendship, a relationship. I've done that with a lot of officers. When they're in the basketball games or the football games, I'm out chewing the fat with them, asking them, making sure they've got everything. These texts came to me. What was my obligation? I immediately shared with who I believed I should have, and I've done what I think I should have done right now to let this community understand these are the kind of things that we're dealing with right now. Are they expensive? Absolutely. Is it our fault? No. But where do we land? That's an unanswered question. That's why I've hired experts.
I understand that. I pose my questions